Welcome back to Siesta with Suki. This is what I promised you, part 2, where we're going to talk to Jaguar. I know you saw part 1, but if you didn't, I have the link there for you, so go back and watch part 1 before we come back to part 2. We are talking about healing, we're talking about the journey, and we're talking about the no trauma life. But before we got to the no trauma life, there were obviously challenges. And so I'm going to leave that with you to share with us. Talk to me. Talk to us.
Nice. Well, I feel like the dominant thing that really was a catalyst for a transformation in my mindset was okay, keep going. Sorry, the song. We're in Mexico, so like a really good jam just came on in the background.
That's up your whole flow.
Yeah, I was like, should I stand up and dance or should I talk about my trauma on the podcast?
Okay, feeling good.
Yeah, because I was like feeling so good. Okay, I love that. I like that happened though. Like spirit felt the mood. Okay, but like part of what was a really big catalyst on my journey was a car accident I experienced when I was not in a car. I was walking, but now it's like 15 years ago now. It was like maybe 14. It's like going to be 15 years ago. But what happened at that time was I was on foot and a woman was speeding down the road and she passed out, but with her foot on the gas. So she made impact with an oncoming car and then sent that car reeling. And those are two of the victims of the car accident. That popped open her hood. And then I was walking along. She scooped me under the hood and kept driving and drove through the glass front of a Cosi restaurant. This was in Madison, Wisconsin. And in the restaurant, she made impact with another woman who was in there and pinned her to the far wall. But when she made impact with the restaurant, it dislodged my body from where I was trapped under the hood of the car. And it sent me flying many blocks through the air. And when the paramedics found me, my head was split open in multiple places on one side, and I was clinically dead. So that is kind of like the police report car accident story. But on the mystical aspect is what is my conscious, unconscious memory, which is just being on the other side. I have like a dominant memory of being in the otherness and being taken over and seeing this body that you're looking at on this interview from above, sort of the way you're looking at it. And then feeling this pull, like a pull to go in, and this sense of, like go in this body to complete this mission, like go in this body to complete this work. And also like a sense of, because it's not verbal, it's hard to describe these kind of things. But so this is a near-death experience in technical medical terminology of today. I call it a death experience because it's like, no, I was literally dead. So it wasn't near death. It's like I went in it. And then came back out of it. But what I remember is kind of the head of the body feeling like a magnetic pull and then being like sucked back inside. And I always, and then kind of like locking in at the extremities, like getting sealed. I don't know how else to put it. But I often describe it in interviews like if you took a dive into a swimming pool and then you like dive into the pool and then you're floating and then you begin to feel that liquidness around you hardening like concrete that moves from a liquid substance in alchemy to like a density. And that's what it felt like to like re-enter the 3D density of this reality in which we move in bodies. So it wasn't pleasant. And that was waking up.
I feel like that's an understatement.
I feel like there's an understatement there. Okay. And the journey, people always say, like, how long were you in the coma? How long has it been since the coma? But it's not about that because, like I said, I went into timelessness. So I can't tell you how long I was in timelessness. And no matter how long I remain within linear time, my experience of timelessness will always be more potent. Whenever I wake up in the morning, this ephemeral memory, it's the dominant thing. And I have to come back down, like, into this reality. It gets easier and easier and easier, and it's part of why I live in Oaxaca, a place where like magic is alive and well, and it's somehow easier for my consciousness to navigate, being here. But I went through a long linear journey of learning how to walk again, talk again, read again, write again, and then that's the simple side, and the more complex, more long-term learning side is how to navigate social interactions and like how to not seem like a weirdo or to like carry your weirdness in a way that is like socially acceptable. So learning things that's like physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, trauma therapy. Occupational therapy is like how to brush your teeth, how to go to the bathroom, like how to tell time on a clock, what numbers mean, like what is counting, like what is money, like how do we take care of ourselves here in this space. I remember standing up from the wheelchair, and I remember the explanation of learning to walk because my limbs weren't broken. I had a traumatic head injury. So it's like they're explaining the concept of walking. They're explaining like, it's like you put a foot down and then you push that foot back, then you lift your other foot up and then you like put your foot down, you know, that kind of thing. And also like walking, I used to be really by the sound of any like traffic, even though I don't consciously remember the car accident or the car incident or the car miracle, as I call it now. Just the sound of a car going by would be something that would send me into a seizure, those kind of things. So there was a really strong physical aspect to my journey of like coming back into myself, which I used to really hold with my trauma story. But now, having worked with hundreds and hundreds of women in this time, I feel like all women, we have a story that's, mine is like really theatrical and dramatic. I'm like, my higher self is just like really dramatic. Like, and I get that, cool. But we all have something similar of like coming back into your body. We have things, it could be just even a simple like a divorce, a painful birth, like a domestic violence experience. Women carry all of these stories, you know? And we have moments where we kind of come back into our identity, get grounded back into our body, and find like a new name, you know? And so that's my coming into my name of Jaguar, like a summary of it. But I feel that it's not only unique to me, it's like we are Jaguar women as a tribe. Those of us who have had to like feel that moment where you exit because it's too much, and then you are like, okay, I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna complete the work, whatever that means to you. And you go through something so powerful that you're like, I don't know, man, but now my name is Roxanne. That's just like what it is. I can't explain it. Because you just need like another element of who you are. And in a lot of cultures, even in Aboriginal cultures, each time you go through like a shift in your womanhood, you do have like a naming ceremony. And it's something I think is so potent. But I mentioned that because my birth name is Lavon Natasha Caesar, and I've been really feeling like really integrated the Jaguar energy. And I love that we started talking about the ancestors and that we're talking about Oaxaca, and all of this is about us connecting also because we love each other, then also inviting women into this love energy that we have here circling in this beautiful pot of soup that is the experience of Oaxaca. And Oaxaca has this integrating magic. I feel most integrated that I ever have in my journey of Jaguar Lavon and the car accident and the death and the coming back in the body. I'm really feeling it, and it's about Oaxaca too. Like, she can bring all the pieces of yourself and weave them together in a way that can create peace, and that can lead you to be like, I don't have trauma, even though like one time you were hit by a car and seen.
But that was the first instinct, right? That's what you felt.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we all want to feel.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think one of my favorite things in Oaxaca, one of the first times I went to a Temazcal ceremony,
Yes.
I'm talking to the woman on the other side, you know, everyone's naked and we're doing the things. And then she happens to mention she's a lawyer. And I'm like, wow, I love this place. The person doing the ceremony, we are beating drums, we are singing, we are blowing into the pipes, we're just calling out. And in the midst of this, you know, here it's okay. Like they don't separate your spirituality from the other thing. You're not a one person. You know, people don't ask me here, which is really nice. No one actually asks me what I do.
Yeah, no, that's not a thing here.
It's not, yeah, it's like, it's not, it's because, and the thing is, my answer would be so bizarre, you know, it'd be like, I'm like a real Haitian, right? I got 10 jobs.
Yeah.
I can't even give you a what I do, because there's not a what I do, right? Depends on what day you find me.
Yeah.
Last night I was writing. This morning I was working on a brand guide.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, and sometimes I play mom, you know, so.
All the time now.
Well, you know. No, I give them space, you know. That's one of the things I learned on my journey. There's a point where you're mom, and then there's definitely got to be a point where you're you.
That's
so
good.
I have definitely reclaimed being me, absolutely for sure. So kid number 3 is kind of raising himself with the help of his sister. She's like mini mom. So. But I think that I agree with you. We all have a trauma. And a lot of times, like your trauma, it comes from nowhere.
Yeah.
Or, it's
like a car accident.
Yeah.
I just like that car.
That's what it feels like a lot, because you just didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And it shifts your whole sense and your whole worldview. And I think one of the things that is probably most important is a lot of times we feel alone in that.
Yes.
It was like we're the only one who's going through it.
Yes.
We don't, I think, trust each other enough to sometimes share that trauma freely.
Yes.
And then we feel, it's taken me a long time. Haitian folks, they don't trust anybody, don't tell anyone anything. So, you grow up, you're a kid, especially Haitian kids, it's like, keep it all in here.
Yeah, that's
be seen and not heard.
Style of training
is so real, right? Like they expect to see you, they expect your hair to be combed. They don't want to know anything that happened in school.
Yeah.
They don't want to know how you got that grade. It better magically appear as an A.
Yeah. It better be an A, but don't tell me how.
But don't tell me how. The how is your problem.
Yeah.
But the result is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So when you grow up with that, you get to that space where if you show any what they might perceive as a weakness, you can't show them. And so you don't tell anyone. I'll tell you one of the most ridiculous things. A couple of things freed me. Actually, Sky freed me, so I'll tell you about that in a second. But one of the things that freed me, I remember watching 8 Mile, Eminem, and he's in that part where he's doing the rap and this, that, and he's like, yeah, my mom's trailer park, tell them something they don't know about me. And I was like, you know what?
Okay.
I hear you, sir.
I will tell them something they don't know.
I was saying, I just want to tell everybody. Like, you can't talk about me if I just tell you. Right?
Yeah.
If I tell you, I had a pelvic floor collapse.
Yeah.
You can't go out there talking about, did you hear that?
Yeah.
There's nothing to say.
Yeah.
Because in the end of the day, honestly, what do I care? Right? So,
Yeah.
Okay. You've got no power over me. I can't let your words have power over me because I'm hiding.
Right.
And that's a lot of times where we have some of that trauma. So I don't hide.
Right.
It's all out there.
It's like, take the shame out of it.
It's right out, So I understand sometimes I meet people on the street, I've never seen them before, and they're like, Cynthia, I know you. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Not exactly, but kind of, I get it, because I just put it all out there. And I think that when in the retreat, that's part of what we are putting together for the women. It's, we say the word safe space. But the reality is we actually are all probably safe all the time.
Yeah.
We just don't mentally feel that, and you've got to feel it first and experience it and then know what it actually feels like to take it outside of the space, to go in that safe space, feel safe, and then say to yourself, okay, how do I feel safe everywhere?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of our goal. As I'm walking down the street, no matter what, I feel safe. But you've got to have an entry point, and it's literally like what you said earlier, teaching people to walk.
Yeah.
How do you walk into that safe space yourself? And someone, when you're young and you're a baby, it's like natural, right? It happens because we all feel safe. We're that 5-year-old, generally speaking, you feel safe.
Yeah.
And then we start unlearning that for some reason, right? The world starts telling us, particularly as women, particularly as Black women, you're not safe. And, they say fear is false evidence appearing real, right? But there's a lot of evidence out there. It's like, it doesn't feel like fear because you're just like, okay, I see the evidence here. I see the evidence there. There seems to be quite a bit of evidence.
Yeah.
So it goes from being fear to reality. Yeah. Really. It goes from fear to real. And so you've got to get to that point where it's like, there's a part of you that fully understands. It is very real. So, it's a truth. But it doesn't have to be your truth outside of the time that you might actually be experiencing what it is. So don't take it outside of that experience because it will happen again. There's no magic pills here, no magic bullets. People will be who they will be.
Yeah.
If they've said crazy things to you in the past, they're going to say some crazy stuff to you in the future. They're just going to. There is no stopping that. And so it's coming, but that okay, this is how I get myself back to that space. And I think that's what memories do for us.
Yeah, so I was thinking about how we're talking about the retreat or this gathering, the bringing people together. part of the magic and the healing that can happen in these spaces is, you know, people talk a lot about manifesting now, and it's become a familiar concept.
Yes.
It's something that sometimes we look at it as an assignment when it's really just a description of how the world works. So it's like, whether or not you know that you're manifesting, it's just a description of the fact that we are creating our experiences based on the way that our minds are working and what they are calling in. And what these retreats can do is create, you know, like when you're in your manifestation process, you might learn about like a vision board, or they're like fake it till you make it, or like go and like walk around all of the yachts and then like touch them and take pictures of them and like put it on your wall.
Oh, is that a thing?
It's like, yeah, like making your vision board. Yeah, like living, you want to like live in, yeah, that's one of the things.
I'm thinking about a yacht. I might be going to Huatuco and, you know, taking some yachts.
It's like, okay, hot.
We'll be back. Okay.
We'll be back. Okay, cut to commercial. It's like us walking around yachts. But like, yeah, like putting yourself in that space can make it real in your life. So that's like on a really physical level, but on an energetic level, in terms of like healing and the subtlety of healing, this is what retreats can do. It can create a memory of an active place where you felt really safe and protected and were like, and nurtured. And then when you're out of that situation, you can pull it up as a memory that you actually experienced. You feel me?
Yes.
So it's like we're making like an imprint for you in your consciousness. And that little moment will live forever in your mind. Maybe you can't like fly back every week to come hang out with me and Suki here in Oaxaca, but that moment will be
or
so...
you can manifest.
You can though, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
You don't have to be able to do that.
Yes.
You can come and have this experience, and the memory of it is so potent that it will live in your consciousness, and you can access it all the time and bring that energy into your now moment. You can bring that Oaxaca energy, that Oaxaca memory into whatever your life is in Chicago and New York and wherever you are, you know? And that's how the healing can like keep going even when you're now away from that experience. And that's what I think is so beautiful about retreats. It's like you're taking a time to invest in making a memory whose effects are permanent and forever and like vastly long, far-reaching.
Yes.
And can heal all these little like intricate like nooks and crannies of your consciousness without having to like beat that drum over and over and over again. And that's something I think is really special. Yeah.
I think retreats, in my mind, the analogy for me is, imagine if we remembered the safety of the mother's womb.
Yes. So
imagine if we remembered how nurtured we felt, how loved we felt, how when we would hear the muted sounds inside. Oh. You know, imagine if we remembered that. So we don't. We actually forget, right? But the retreat is that womb, that space where you know you're loved, you're nurtured, and we get to consciously remember that feeling.
Yeah.
Before the birth.
So good.
And we would be so, I mean, just imagine, you know.
It's very on brand. And then in this retreat, we're going to go to a temescal, which is the womb.
It is the womb.
It's going to be like womb within womb within womb, and we're going to do some Jaguar woman womb work. It's like all this. It's so much womb. It's like it's so safe. Couldn't be more safe. It's so good. Mexico is a womb. Within Mexico, Oaxaca is a womb. Within Oaxaca, we're going to go into the temescal, which is a womb. This space, Le Soleil, is like such like a sacred womb protected space. So it's really like layers and layers of safety.
It is. It's going to be, I'm really looking forward to it, just because I think that, and you know, I've told you guys already, I'm a heathen, haven't been to church in decades, so I'd probably be lightning would strike, so I'm not sure that I'm welcome. Nonetheless, I do recognize the value of, you know, I get Sunday, like you go, because it's like to remember, right?
Yeah, and community.
And it's to recharge, and it's the community.
Yeah.
So I never quite understood the sin on Saturday, go on Sunday deal, so a little más o menos for me, but you don't have to worry about that sinning and all that other stuff here. We don't worry about that. So, but it's definitely a remembering, kind of a recharge, like restart.
Yeah.
And you know, rebirth, which is really what this is. Yeah. And it's rebirth to start learning how to crawl and walk again. And legitimately, the idea is that when you leave, you know, like you said, that memory, you tap into it. And it triggers, okay, this is what it is. Because we can't stop the outside world from coming at you. You know, it's coming.
Yeah.
But what we can do,
especially now.
Oh yeah, things are, they're so fascinating. It's depending on what stage you are in life, because I think we all go through different stages, right? Like you said, the man woman stage. I definitely went through the stage myself of, I don't even know what the word is, but I remember being a kid and thinking that adults were pretty, I don't know, I thought they were principled, and I thought that they had everybody's best interest in mind, and I couldn't wait. Like, I was a kid and I was like, man, I cannot wait to be an adult, grown up. I'm telling you, I was so ready, because I was like, I'm going into that world, and I'm gonna be great. It's gonna be so good. I was like, we're doing this, right? And then, I don't know, I got here, and I recognized, oh wow, these are the same people as when I was a kid. Yeah. And so that was very disappointing to me, like very disappointing. And it took, I'm still processing that, honestly. Yeah. Because I still sometimes, I have this thing in my mind of the principles of life. Not to say that I don't, like if I'm breaking one of my principles, I'm very conscious. I don't lie to myself, I'm straight up. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I broke it.
I definitely broke it. I wilded out, like no question. Yes, I did not pay that fine. Okay, like I did, Like I told the cop that, I wasn't gonna take the ticket. Like I get it, right? So I don't lie to myself. I'm like, you are doing that. But I try to be very honest with myself in the actions.
Okay, I like that.
And I think that that's probably been the most disappointing. But I'll tell you one thing I wanna, so I can't say I have like trauma stories, but I do have periods of time where things shifted drastically for me. But they were like good things, kind of. So I'll give you two. So I was telling you, Sky, she saved me twice. First time she saved me, I'm a young mother, everyone's telling me the fun stuff. You're going to drop out of school and blah, 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 blah. You're not going to graduate and da, da, da. And I look young, like when I was young, right?
You look young now.
So I'd be on the train and people would be like, and I was in college at the time, people would be like, you should finish high school, okay, here? And you're Haitian, you gotta be respectful. So I'd be like, okay. But, high school had long been done, and I did great in school. But, I let it go, no problem. And, a couple times I remember I went to the priest to confess my sin of having a child out of wedlock, and he was like, you're going to hell. And that was fun, yes, that was interesting. But, there was a moment after all of that where I was like, oh, I don't care what people think.
Right.
And that freed me very early, especially someone who grew up culturally, Caribbean. Right. You have to be very respectful. You've got to do all the things that they want you to do because that'll make the family proud, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And suddenly I didn't have to make the family proud anymore because they were so unproud, So, but that was great. Yeah. And so I was free.
You're free. Yeah.
I was free. And that was so beautiful. Yeah. And the second was actually very physical. 9/11, she had a phantom sickness. Because she woke up that morning, it was like she was borderline dying. It was like, and I couldn't go to work. I can't tell you how upset I was. It's like, I want to tell you 7:30, and she's so sick that I can't take her to school. Wow. And it was my turn to stay with the kids because Evan had to go to work. So.
And you were in New York?
We're in New York, yes, because I worked in the city. Wow. So I'm pretty pissed off, and I'm like, okay, fine, I have to stay, so I have to call into work. So I'm embarrassed, Asian folks, you got to go into work, you're bleeding and you're like dead, but you got to show up to work anyway. So that's kind of my attitude about things. And so not going really made me feel a certain way. So I end up going to my parents' house and I put her in front of what I'm thinking is going to be cartoons. And, it's like 8, you already know the time. And she says to me, and mind you, about 8:30, 8:45, she's miraculously better. Like everything, she is laughing, she is chuckling. So I'm actually doubly pissed now because I am like, okay. First, you're like,
now you're messing with my money.
Now you're happy, joyful. I want to watch TV. I want to eat. And it's like, what? Like what? You're chirping at me? And now I could have gone, but I missed the buses. There was no changing anything. I put her in front of the TV so I can go, do something, make some food or something. And she says, Mommy, the plane ran into the building. And I'm thinking, what kind of cartoon is this? So I'm walking over and I'm like, these people in these cartoons, you can't even let your kids watch cartoons anymore. And I go and it's not a cartoon. And we sit and we watch that. And that day I was home in Rockland. We lived in Rockland County at the time. So I didn't cross over into the city because she was sick.
Oh, that's incredible.
So
That's an incredible story.
She literally saved me from being down there. I lost contact with my parents for a couple of days. People couldn't cross the bridge because they shut it down. They shut down cell phones. Like, they shut down all communication. My family would not know what happened to me. They shut down the GW bridge, everything.
Right.
You know, and you didn't know what was going on. So the fear was just incredible. You know, and I look back.
You were safe at home.
I was safe at home. I really was. You know, and Em worked in New Jersey, so he was able to get home. So the family was safe, you know, that day. And so sometimes I see things happen, and sometimes they happen over a long period. And I always say to myself, there's a lesson here that I'm supposed to learn. There's a path that I'm supposed to be on.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a little rocky right now. It's a little rocky, but you know what? That's because I'm supposed to be there. The only reason you and I are here today is because my pelvic collapsed last year.
Right.
And so I started, you know, obviously, you know, really my journey and kind of the whole, what are you doing? How much you're holding the pain inside, etc. Right? And I had to go through that to be here. And at the retreat itself, at the gathering itself, if just one person, their path changes, that pain of last year will have been worth it.
Yeah.
I would go back in time to myself, my spirit self, which is timeless, and say, no problem, you go ahead and do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I will lay in that bed again and not move further.
Yeah, you're going to get to the other side.
You're going to get to the other side, you know? And so that's kind of what we're bringing to people. So I say that to you only to say, I wouldn't want people to feel as though you actually need a trauma. Like, you don't need to make up a trauma to us or me or anyone, right? Like, it's okay if life's been good, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes life is actually good, right? Life is conspiring for you to be on a path. Yeah. And it doesn't have to manifest. It manifests in the way it's supposed to manifest for each individual person. Life speaks to you in the way that it knows you will hear best. Yeah. It knew that with the kids, that was literally the only thing that probably would have kept me. Seriously, like, I was going to work, okay? The way I was raised, I was going. I could have been physically ill and it wouldn't have mattered.
You still would have gone.
That's right. I would have gone. So it's definitely that. Well, I'm going to leave you all with a couple things. First off, I would like you to talk to us about Womb Nation. Give us the details, like, how do you join? What do you do? You know, just how you join and be part of the community. How do we find you on your Instagram, all the stuff. Give us the stuff.
Okay, Womb Nation. So the website is wombnation.org. I get surprised, but a lot of people can't spell womb. It's WOMB.
I was going to ask you to spell. We're saying, you know, sometimes we get a little spelling.
And it's .org. So Womb Nation, like Lakota Nation, Navajo Nation, Womb Nation. The one nation is the Womb Nation. So wombnation.org. That's where you can find my information. On Instagram, it's Jaguar Woman. I spell woman with a B like womb. So it's Jaguar Woman, WOMBAN. And you'll find me. You'll see my little face. And you can go on Womb Nation and apply to be part of the membership system. And part of what we do is you receive herbs in the mail that are appropriate to steam with for that month. My herbs are all sourced from one farm, which is my favorite farm that makes herbs, that grows herbs in southern Oregon, and it's called Oshala Farms. So it's a collaboration with me and Oshala Farms. I'm making the recipes, and if you are within the U.S. and Hawaii, you can receive the herbs in the mail. And then once a month, every new moon, we gather on Zoom and we womb steam together. And this has been happening with a consistent group of women for 4 years now. And it's really beautiful. Like, we synchronize, we connect, we share, and then we steam. So that's what Womb Nation is. Womb Nation is also the only way to access my work and my medicine. I offer one-on-one sessions, both virtually and in person, to Womb Nation members. And it provides other different ways that you can access me. You can also see like an archival history of my videos and transmissions every month. So Womb Nation. And on my Instagram, I just put stuff about like my puppies and my cats and like eating coconuts in Oaxaca, if that's what you're into. I also have a space here in Oaxaca called Utera, and that is my atelier and apothecary and healing studio. So if you're in Oaxaca, you can meet me and like book a little session with me in person in my healing space. And that also has an Instagram. Utera is Utera, Utera Oaxaca. And I also sell like plant dyed. I like to dye with plants. This is like undone skin and calendula here, but plant dyed womb steam robes and handmade ceramic womb steam bowls. So just like everything for steaming the womb. I have like no competition in this market. No one else is interested. But you can get like you can get a womb steam robe, you can get your womb steam bowl, you can get your womb steam herbs, and you can like get your womb steam experience. And that's what I do. Yeah. And I really love it.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the love. It's the love. Yes, that is the key.
And then here we're going to be doing a circle. I'll be teaching you about womb steam, like how to do it, when to do it.
That again. That's the Oaxaca car passing by. Okay. That's not totally normal. Okay? The plane thing is normal. The music is definitely normal. The car, he needs a new muffler.
He needs a new muffler.
Yes.
It's quiet here too.
It is quiet. That's what I'm trying to figure out what's he doing. That's a muffler problem right there. I know this because I had a muffler once that fell out of my car, so I actually know what it sounds like.
I like that you have all the info. You're like, it's a muffler.
Oh no, I know that. Because you know, when you don't have a lot of money, you got some car problems, you learn a lot of stuff, okay? So I know about some car parts. So.
Okay, what was my ramble? Oh, when you come hang out with Suki and I for the retreat, when we're gathering you together to have the experience, I will teach you about when to womb steam. What herbs can you womb steam with? Like, what is the best way to do it? Like, I don't know, maybe it'll like pop up and we'll actually steam, we can see. But what I'm going to promise you.
I'd love to do that.
I know, which night. But like what you'll definitely learn is like when, how, what. You can ask me questions and we'll have this beautiful experience that I call the circle of light, which is just I think we'll put some like oil on our bodies, we'll like lay, we'll like do some meditative practices and have like a guided meditation journey together and kind of enter into the waters of our womb space and get a vision, come back up with your new destiny. Next thing you know, you go home, you're like, I quit my job, I'm a dancer.
I still got that bank manifestation.
Yeah, you're gonna get like the money. You'll like get it all figured out. You got a grant. Like next thing you know,
she's laughing like this is not a thing. Okay, let me just tell you, it's a thing. Okay,
yeah. I have a lot of clients work with like fertility. My mom's always like, you can't say 100%, but I have 100% success rate. So
you just gotta say the truth, right?
I don't know. I'm sorry, Mom, but it's true.
So we're looking to make some babies.
So if you want to make a baby,
they call her.
I'm the one. My most recent client is 48, first baby.
Oh,
so
wow.
I feel like I also been through. I feel every womb can have a baby.
You're scaring me though, right? Because I'm like 49 and I'm done.
You don't need my juju. I'm trying to keep it under control.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
because like you coming in super fertile.
I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, what do we do for
I'm just keeping it in my aura. Okay. I love that.
Let me drop the kids off.
Yeah, but that's also part of the baby magic. So like if you are like on a fertility journey, which a lot of women are, especially in the US because of the food, and don't get me started, but like you do want to get in the field of like I have a theory about it, like getting in the field of a very fertile woman who's like had a lot of babies, and that kind of woman like Suki who's like, no.
Oh man.
But it's like, come and just like get a little hug.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm
like, take it home. Take it home to your partner. Womb Nation.
Or if you're not looking to have kids, stay away, I guess.
Yeah, but also don't worry. If you're not looking to conceive, you can redirect that sticky, delicious fertility energy towards, like I said, like your bank account, your creative aspirations. These are also things that you need to conceive and to birth. So we want to like keep our energy in a field where it's like, yeah, my dreams are coming true. The things that I'm seeing in my mind, in my third eye, they're traveling down, they're being birthed into the physical, and I'm like feeling like that flow of ideas coming in and like visions like coming out. So I think all that is our fertility. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently if you hug me, you got a lot of money. I don't know. Well, thank you for that. So visit Womb Nation. Obviously, Jaguar is going to be here with us March 14th through the 17th of this year. But like I said, I know we're coming up in February. It might be a little close and tight. We will do it again next year, so you can get on kind of a list with us. and we'll just kind of start the process, and I believe in collaboration, so we can actually talk about a great time for next year together, all of that. So we are here filming at La Soley. I will spell that for you too. It's LASOLEY.com. This is where we're going to be for the retreat. This is a space that my husband and I birthed. This was a real birth for real, because it was messy and all of that. But the baby came out absolutely beautifully.
So beautiful.
You know, and it's just a vision of colors and space and sunlight and music all the time. And it is something that I love to share with my guests. I got that fertility energy because I'm like a mom, for real. People walk through the door and I'm like, what do you need? And we're calling taxis for you, and we're doing this and we're doing that. So that's kind of like our superpower, that we absolutely take care of you when you are here. The same way I love taking care of when I go on vacation. So that's what we do here for you at La Soley in Oaxaca. So that is everything, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. This has been so good, so much fun. I know you had fun. I had fun. Tell your friends, press the like button, share button, press it, press it, press it, send it to people. If you hate it, that's okay. Press it, press it, press it, send it to people. It's not a thing, you know.
You don't hate it though.
Look, I know.
All this?
Oh, and can I give a shout out? I'm going to give a last shout out. This is... So this is fabric. This fabric is actually 30 years old, if you can imagine. So artists come to Oaxaca because they ridiculously gravitate toward Oaxaca. And I went to Michelle's house. So Michelle is a poet, she's an artist, and she had this fabric, and I was like, Michelle, I'm going to make these pillows. And that's exactly what I did, and they came out so beautifully. And I love having a piece of history in the house. I actually have one of her paintings here too. And you're giving me an idea that I'm going to talk to you about when we get off camera. I actually want to put all of the different pieces in one online store.
Oh, yes.
Where people can just go and get it and know that authentically it came from the people.
Yeah, I love that.
And so when I have that information, because when I think about something, I give birth fast, right? That's a whole thing. Babies, businesses, all the B words. Bankroll, I give birth to all of that. I will put that in the link for you guys too, so that you actually can get a piece of authentic, I think, Oaxaca, and the feel, because the feel matters. It's like putting your hands and creating something. So I'm going to do that, because
I like that.
So I have it all over the place, and I've been thinking about it, but today that was birth.
I love that.
I
love these pillows.
We gave birth on camera.
Hey! See how easy that was?
It wasn't messy and nothing. All right, well, that's everything. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the other side. Ciao.
Ciao.